So let's continue to get caught up about the aftermath of Donald Trump wondering aloud about injecting bleach and isopropyl alcohol as a possible treatment for coronavirus. He said it. He floated the idea that it was sarcasm. That failed. So Friday, he left the press briefing without taking a single question. We then learned he would be reducing the number and duration of press briefings. But more importantly, Trump spent the entire weekend rage tweeting attacks on media for all of this. And that's the move. He tried claiming it was sarcasm and that failed. He, denying that he ever said it has obviously failed since we have cameras in 2020 and we can record things. So Trump spent the whole weekend with dozens of tweets, including some that he has deleted out of shame, attacking the media for all of this. Once again, another of Trump's authoritarian, totalitarian tendencies, attack the press constantly for everything while never taking responsibility. So let's take a look, a tour through Trump's weekend rage tweeting, starting with lies about virus testing. Trump saying many testing sites are and have been open and available. Just past 5 million tests, far more than any other country in the world. In fact, more than all other major countries combined. Don't believe the fake news. Now, that's just a short statement, but it's riddled with lies. First of all, what matters is testing per capita. We are 41st in testing per capita. The total number of tests doesn't matter that much. But also remember that the Trump administration promised that we would have done more than 20 million tests by the end of March. It's the end of April, and we've done only 5 million. But Trump insists it's the media that is lying to you. No, he's the one lying to you. Then going into bleach injection, saying, quote, was just informed that the fake news from the Thursday White House press conference had me speaking and asking questions of Dr. Birx. Wrong. I was speaking to our laboratory expert, not Deborah, about sunlight, etc., and the coronavirus. The lamestream media is corrupt and sick. Now, of course, the video is very clear. Trump turns to her and literally says, Deborah, have you heard of injecting heat and light? And she says, well, there is this thing called fever. So again, it's another lie, but a pointless lie. It's neither here nor there in Trump wondering aloud about bleach and isopropyl injections. Then maybe Trump's key tweet of the weekend, now defending why he won't be doing press briefings. Of course, the real reason he's going to pare them down is it's become an embarrassment. He says it's because of the media, tweeting, quote, what is the purpose of having White House news conferences when the lamestream media asks nothing but hostile questions and then refuses to report the truth or facts accurately? They get record ratings and the American people get nothing but fake news, not worth the time and effort. He said something that is the source of international shame for the United States. That's why he's being advised to pare down the meetings. But he attacks the media as the reason. And unfortunately, it probably works with many of his followers. Another media attack. Remember, this is the president in the midst of a pandemic, spending his entire weekend tweeting stuff like this, saying, quote, I never said the pandemics was a hoax. Who would do such a thing? I said that the do-nothing Democrats, together with their mainstream media partners, are the hoax. They have been called out and embarrassed on this, even admitting they were wrong, but continue to spread the lie. Remember, it's Trump who's been called out and embarrassed internationally for saying, what about injecting bleach? And of course, he did refer to it as a hoax many times. Then, amid numerous well-sourced reports that Trump has recently been watching 5 to 7 hours of news every morning before strolling into work at noon, Trump says, quote, the people that know me and know the history of our country say that I am the hardest working president in history. I don't know about that, but I am a hard worker and have probably gotten more done in the first 3.5 years than any president in history. The fake news hates it. That one, obviously a lie, but we don't really need to debunk it. And then this is the cherry on top, a 3-tweet gong show where he said, and subsequently deleted because of the embarrassing misspellings, when will all of the reporters who have received Nobel prizes, and I'm saying not Nobel, Noble, N-O-B-L-E, Nobel prizes for their work on Russia, only to have been proven totally wrong, and in fact, it was the other side who committed the crimes, be turning back their cherished Nobles, again, N-O-B-L-E-S, so that they can be given to the real reporters and journalists who got it right. I can give the committee a very comprehensive list, When will the Noble Committee demand the prizes back? This is one sentence, folks. Especially since they were gotten under fraud. The reporters in mainstream media knew the truth all along. Lawsuits should be brought against all, including the fake news organizations. That's capital F, capital N, capital O, to rectify this terrible injustice. For all of the great lawyers out there, do they have any takers? When will the Noble Committee act? That's a capital A on act. Better be fast. Those were deleted, I assume, because of Noble versus Nobel, but also maybe because it is the agit trash that you would expect someone on Ambien or some other kind of medication to be tweeting out, not the president of the United States in the middle of a Sunday afternoon. An entire weekend after a globally embarrassing debacle, attacking media and press as the source of his problems. This is not a well man. We're going to do a deep dive later in the week about how this has become a sort of last straw for a lot of people around the world to realize that this man is fundamentally unwell. But what matters here in the U.S. is whether our voters realize it. People in Germany realizing Trump is sick doesn't really help remove him in November. If Americans who don't vote realize Trump is sick, it also doesn't help remove him in November. People who are going to vote or who can be convinced to vote, they are the ones who need to realize it. And I don't know that they are. One of our sponsors is privacy.com. They're giving you $5 when you sign up for their completely free service at privacy.com/Pakman. I've been using Privacy for a little over a year now. You've heard me talk about it before. It's a lifesaver, and here's how it works. It takes just a couple of minutes to set up. Anytime you buy something online or on the phone, instead of actually using your real credit card number, the Privacy app and the browser plugin let you give each company a randomized virtual credit card number that you create out of thin air. It'll even autofill the card number with one click. And the payment is taken out of your checking account without the merchant ever knowing your real information. So this allows you to keep your banking information secure, but also to take control of your finances. You can create up to 12 of these virtual credit cards a month. You can set spending limits. You can freeze them. You can delete them anytime you want. So when you do this, it means you're not going to be charged when you don't want to be, because you can destroy the virtual card number right after using it, which, for instance, I love using free trials because I know I won't be charged when the trial is over if I use a virtual credit card number. You're keeping your identity private by not telling companies who you are. You're keeping your bank or credit card info protected against data breaches and identity theft. And it's free. There's no catch whatsoever. But if you want, Privacy also offers a $10 a month plan that gives you 1% cash back and lets you create 36 credit cards a month, and a $25 a month plan tailored more for small businesses where you can create 60 card numbers a month and much more. But definitely go ahead and at least get started with the free plan. You'll protect your financial info. Companies can't charge you unexpectedly. And like I said, you'll get $5 to spend when you sign up at privacy.com/Pakman.